All right, lads and other lads. Okay, I've got limited time here apparently. Anyway, let's get down to business. I'm going to talk about the most pressing question on everybody's mind after the last video. And that is, dude, what happened to the beard? No, that's not actually, that is surprisingly, I think, the most talked about thing on that. But anyway, go ahead and get that out of the way before we move on to serious business. Yes, I did shave my beard completely off recently, and that was for one reason. I'm Captain America. No, actually, the thing that happens is every once in a while, either for VBS at church or for the children's hospital, I will dress up as Captain America for the children and only for the children, and for that reason and only for the children will I shave my beard completely. That said, I look a lot better without a beard than I did when I was bald without a beard back in my bald days. So I don't know. Clearly I can rock it either way. I'll find out what I like better. But moving on to things that actually matter besides just my appearance, my physical visage, I don't know. But beyond just that, moving on to more significant matters as far as the direction and content of this channel. I mentioned in the last video that there had been a considerable number of relapses since the last time, and it's time for me to talk about what was going on there. I touched on that a while ago, back after my first relapse it was almost 2 years. And this is a continuation of that, really. I thought I had it figured out, didn't actually. Went back to it and started, trying to figure out, okay, what's going on here and how to counter it and how I can learn from this, most importantly. And what happened all along was I would go to sleep at night, wake up roughly an hour later, usually around an hour, and be in a very different state of mind, and also of course, be facing considerable temptation. Now, one of the things that may be contributing to this is I'm pretty sure, haven't had blood work or anything done, but I'm pretty sure my testosterone levels are up lately. Probably a combination of just, natural hormones and stuff, as well as working out more and eating lots and lots and lots of eggs. Possibility. So, other than that, as to what caused this, I don't know. I don't know what's causing me to wake up an hour after going to sleep and being in a totally different, almost like a completely different level of consciousness. But the interesting thing is that for more than 2 years now, I have not ever looked at porn in the period of time, normal waking hours, in the period of time between waking up in the morning, and going to sleep again at night. So between those two periods, I've always been able to withstand any degree of temptation that's thrown up against me. It's only after falling asleep at night and then waking up roughly an hour or so later. And what happens at that point is, like I said, it's almost like being in a totally different level of consciousness. I literally forget. And it's not just like, I'm choosing not to think about it or something. Like, I actually forget the things that I'm thinking about before bed. Forget about all the lessons that I've learned. For example, curiosity. That's been one of the biggest battlegrounds for me in my entire fight against pornography, is curiosity. And one of the most important lessons I learned was to treat curiosity as if it is the end result of that curiosity itself. So in other words, to treat curiosity, just browsing around to see what's out there, as if that action itself were identical to watching actual pornography. And so that's something that's stuck with me for a while. I've got that. I understand that, and that's been a cornerstone of my fighting efforts for long time. And I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and that'll be like a totally foreign conception to me. And I'll even, write down notes on my phone to remind myself. So I pick up my phone, and that's what I see. And it seems strange to me, like it doesn't make sense. And so I don't know what all is going on. Very strange stuff. Recently, I seem to have managed to strategize and find a way to bring my half asleep self up to speed on these things, because it's almost like having to relearn everything all over again in a different mental state, kind of. I don't know. It's really, really, really weird. But that has been what has been going on lately. The lessons I've learned as far as actually resisting seem to hold up completely 100% no matter what. It's just a matter of getting those lessons to myself, or to that deeper level of my consciousness where I can use them in those situations. Again, very weird. This might not make sense, because it barely even makes sense to me. It's really weird stuff going on, and I don't quite understand it. But that has been what is going on lately. I mentioned in the last video that it seems like it hasn't been affecting me as much, and that's true. And that may be because it's in kind of it's taking place almost in like a different world in my mind. It doesn't seem to carry over the, regular worldly mental consequences that it used to. And maybe that's just a function of being off of porn for so long. Maybe my mind has more resistance to the consequences of that. Or maybe it's just because I'm in this weird state of mind where I feel like I've lost half my IQ points, and I don't know how. That's really just about the best way I can describe it. Is I feel like I'm literally like half as intelligent as I normally am, and my memory is half as good as it normally is, and all that kind of stuff. It's just like things aren't connecting right. So yeah, that's really the best I know to tell you right now. And so I've been kind of taking the role as my own teacher in that scenario, just trying to bring myself up to speed there. But it's really weird. It's really weird. That's all. Yeah. I mean, I wish I could tell you more about it. But in the meantime, during this whole ordeal, one of the things that I picked up on was that I had been kind of unintentionally and without realizing it, starting to see my accomplishments in this arena, my streak and whatnot, the fact that I had been abstaining from pornography for so long as something that made me better, which would kind of make sense, if almost all guys are looking at porn and you're not doing it, and porn is a bad thing and you're doing a good thing by not looking at it, then it kind of makes sense that, yeah, that makes you, that means that you're doing better, that that your life overall is more good as a result of that. And it kind of became a pride issue for me, which me and pride go way back. Let me tell you what, it is no joke. Consistently throughout my entire life, the biggest enemy I have had to fight and the most difficult to take down. And that became a weak point for me. And what I realized somewhere along the way is that, ultimately the thing that gives me any goodness whatsoever is not anything that I'm doing. It's the fact that Jesus Christ has taken away all the evil. I'm gonna do a sick 180 here. Just kidding. I don't have a nice car to do sick 180s. Oh, hear those tires squealing a little bit. Anyway, but so the only way that I'm good at all in any capacity whatsoever, no matter what, is through Christ, through Jesus Christ. The goodness that has been imparted to me by his sacrifice. In other words, most of us know the whole gospel story. Christ has taken all of our sin, every bit of it. If you believe in him and you put your trust in him, your faith in him, he's taken all of our sin away and replaced it with his absolute perfection. He lived a perfect life, and then he basically traded places with us. He said, okay, all of y'all's sin, everything you've done wrong, that is now me. That is all on me. And all the good that I have done, all of my righteousness, all of my perfection, all of my sinlessness, that's now you. Okay? And so when we're already declared perfect and blameless before God, how can anything we do or don't do make us any better? I mean, what are we supposed to be? Somehow better than Jesus was? No, that's not quite how it works. Yes, we want to do good, and yes, we want to avoid sinning, and I'll get into that in just a second here. I have so limited time. I'm running out of memory on my phone here. But what I want to get across is that Jesus took away all of our sin, and he gave us all of his righteousness and perfection. All of that is attributed to us. So we are declared as good, as perfect, as blameless as Jesus is. How can we get any better than Jesus? In other words, how can we get any better than he's already made us? You can't. It's not possible, and nothing you do is going to make you better. Okay? That being said, why do we fight? Why do we even fight in the first place? Well, it's the difference between fighting to get on a team and fighting because you are on the team. Let's take sports ball, paintball, for example, okay? You're shooting at the enemy, you're trying to avoid getting hit. You're not doing this so that you can, be on the team, so that you can earn your place on the team. You're doing it because you are on the team. It's the same thing with God. It's the same thing with salvation. We're not fighting against sin so that we can be good enough to get on God's team. God's already said, hey, you're on the team, you're mine, you're my child now. And now we fight because we're on the team. Because these actions, these sins and whatnot, are not a part of our mission objective. They're inconsistent with our mission objective. And so we fight against those things, and we fight to do the right things. We're trying not to get hit, and we're trying to deal blows of our own. We're trying to send those paintballs down range and get the enemy, okay? So that was a lot in a short amount of time. And I hope that covers all the bases here. I hope that all makes sense. But that was one thing that I realized is I'm not fighting to get on God's team. I'm fighting because I'm on God's team. And that makes a pretty big difference in your mindset when you really think about it. But I am completely out of recording time right now. Y'all have a lovely day. God bless you guys. I will talk to y'all soon. Take it easy, but not too easy. Thanks for sticking with me here over the huge break that I've taken. But exciting stuff going on. So I'll talk to you later.